Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's New Year's Eve, and like always, you gotta have a good meal on New Year's Eve. Enjoy yourself to bring in the new year. So, due to COVID, we decided to stay in as a family. So I'm gonna be cooking our gourmet meal right here on the Kamado Joe. So it's gonna be some lobster, some filet mignon, some scallops, and some things that my wife cooked up inside. We'll see what she has when we get to it. First thing we got to do is get the Kamado Joe going. We have a few challenges with this particular cook because we have a couple different things we're trying to cook at the same time. Some being very hot where you want to sear, some things are slower. The filet mignon I plan on putting on first at a low and slow because I want to get a little bit of smoky flavor and I want to really get a good low and slow cook on it. Then we're going to sear it afterwards. It's called the reverse sear method. So to do that, what I have set up here is the charcoal on the bottom and a soapstone actually directly above that. And that's going to heat up this soapstone while we do an indirect cook on top for our filet mignon. After that, we'll be able to sear it on the soapstone. Typically, in most grills, you would have something like this. These are plates that would normally go on underneath this in place of that soapstone to help with indirect cooking. But you don't cook on these. So what I like to do is just cheat and put the soapstone directly on, use that as my indirect cooking and as my sear method. The benefit of doing it this way is we'll also be allowed to do on the soapstone, we'll be able to put the scallops on because the soapstone really does a good job at giving the scallops a good sear and not burning them. I'll be able to put the lobster on top here while I get the other parts done. The lobster will come on top, and those will have a little bit of an indirect cooking as well. So now that we have this good, what I want to do is close this lid, make sure everything's open. Up here we're looking for a temperature of about, I don't know, 250 to 275, 300, somewhere in that range. Okay, we're sitting at 250 right now. So let's go ahead and open this up. See, we got our coals going pretty good. We've got to start slowing this down, but before we do, while it's good and hot, we want to go ahead and add our smoky flavor in there. So we got to get some wood and put it in there. Alright, so what I like to do is I don't like to wait for that blue smoke too much, so what I do is I just kind of push this, try to get it in there as best as I can, and actually get it right on the hottest part of the fire. Nuzzle these in there, because what we want to do is have these catch. When this starts to catch, it'll burn off the impurities that are on the outside of that. So if you don't wait for the white billowy smoke to go away, you'll end up with this bitter, smoky flavor. It's not going to be sweet that you want. So we got the Kamado Joe all out there, pretty well set up. It's getting ready for the smoky flavor on there, just letting all the impurities come off of that wood. So we've got a couple filet mignons, and Camden, since you're in here and you seem so interested, do you know what dry brining is?
I don't know.
You don't know? Does it have something to do with salt?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Put the salt on, then we put it in the fridge, and brown means with brown means. And
That's basically what dry brining is, so he's actually correct.
Yeah.
Why do you dry brine?
Because I make food.
Because you make food.
Because I put them in the brownie into the pie. So that you go so fast.
Benjamin, why do you think Daddy dry brines the meat? What does it do?
So that we can be healthy. Yeah. Like Mommy does. You smell like grilling.
So the reason why you want to dry brine is because the salt makes its way into the meat, and it draws the moisture and holds it there. And that's why you want to dry brine. It does give it some salty flavor, but not a lot. The idea is actually to allow the meat to be more moist. Now that we have the dry brined and we've got this pulled out, I just want to put a nice layer of seasoning on it. Now you want to make sure you get a nice liberal coat on all the sides. Filet mignon is a lot of times a four-sided piece of meat. Most of the time when you have other steak, it's just top and bottom. You got a little bit on the sides that you can kind of splash on there, but the way filet mignon is typically cut, it's thick. It's 2, sometimes 3 inches thick, and that's big enough that you can turn it on its side and actually just season that side. So I try to get all sides covered. It's a decent piece of meat, so it can take it. All right, we got the meat out here. So what we're gonna do is just throw it on here. You can tell we have that nice clear smoke now. And all we're gonna do is set these. I like to have fat cap up, and hopefully some of that fat will drizzle down. So I got the meat thermometer. I don't like to guess when I cook. I like to just know when this is done. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into, probably put it into this bigger piece. Put that in the middle. There we go. So this outside portion is going to tell me what the temperature within the dome is, and inside here the tip will tell me what the internal temperature of the meat is. So I'll be able to monitor both throughout the cook. So what we're waiting on is for them to be about 115 degrees. We're shooting for an internal temperature after everything's done at about 130, which is medium rare. The reason why I stop it at 115 is you'll probably have about 5 degrees carryover, and then a 10-degree leeway while we sear it once we're all done cooking it. Now let's see what my wife's got cooking here. Oh yeah.
Wanted to have some nice things to allow the lobster, scallops, and fillet to shine. So
what's in this?
We have some bourbon butter bellas.
Bourbon butter bellas, okay.
Yeah. And then some bacon and Brussels sprouts.
Well, I can't go wrong with bacon.
Yeah, you have to get the right ratio though, like equal part bacon to Brussels.
Of course.
Very important. And then that's just seasoned with salt. This, I made a sweet potato mash with just some butter and Parmesan cheese in there.
Okay. And then what's over here? Oh yeah.
I made some Oreo truffles.
Oh yeah.
As requested.
That is mine. I'm eating a ton of those tonight.
And then that's an espresso and dark chocolate Swiss roll. And a buttermilk banana bread, because I'm all about the bees today.
All right. Well, we better get this going here. So what we got here are the scallops and the lobster. The black truffle salt, just some pepper I'll grind up, and then this is garlic herb. Now look at that. That is awesome garlic herb right there. I love it. Alright, so we gotta just cut these. I've never done this before, so. But the idea is to get your fingers in here without cutting yourself. Just kind of break this apart a little bit. What are you guys laughing at over there? And what this is going to end up being is almost like a little plate, and it's going to protect this meat while it's on the grill. Little tip with these is make sure that when you buy a lobster tail, get cold water lobster tail. It's much better than warm water.
Why?
It has time in cold water to develop slower, whereas in warm water they grow quicker, so the meat is not as I guess as tender, and it's not quite as flavorful. So it's got a better texture and a better flavor. So now I've got a little bit of black truffle salt left. We're just going to season these up.
When do you put on the garlic butter?
We're going to baste it halfway through with garlic butter.
Okay. Now, was the term for what you just did butterflying or spatchcocking? Or...
No idea. I call it opening up a piece of meat to allow it to protect it from burning. And it's terrible. Alright, so we got these all nice and seasoned. You can see this beautiful red color here. This is going to be excellent when we fillet this open. So, then we've got the scallops. Scallops are all ready to go. So now we're just going to let that go ahead and sit there and rest for a little bit while we get the finish up with searing our steaks. Alright, so these reached an internal temperature of about 117, so we're just a touch over what I was shooting for to pull them off. So we're going to pull these. We're going to pull these, bring them inside, and then I'm going to let this heat up to about 600 degrees so I can get them nice and seared. Okay, let's see if we can get these a nice, decent little sear here. Little trick with these to get a decent sear is actually pat them dry once you're done cooking them. What that does is it takes the moisture out, and it's kind of like with your skin or anything else when you get a sunburn. When you get a sunburn, it takes all the moisture out. Well, this is getting the moisture out ahead of time, so that way it'll be a quick sear, because we do not need these to cook any more than they are. So we're just going to wait for these to sear for about 40 seconds per side. And you want to make sure you get all of the sides. Oh yeah. Now that is a good little crust right there. You can see you got that nice burgundy color. That's what you're looking for in a decent sear. So these are definitely ready to flip. Good. So these look pretty good. Nice sear on the outside. So we're going to go ahead and pull these. And then right away, we want to go ahead and put these on. And even though this is a very hot grill, because I made a little plate and we're indirect cooking, these should not burn. So we will keep these on here for about 4 to 5 minutes, and we'll come back and check on them. Alright, so it's been about 3 or 4 minutes here. Just want to check on this. Still taking a while, so we'll see. These are 8 to 10 ounces. Do not get a small. You want to get a good size, for sure. Wow.
Jeez, you're setting off alarms all over the neighborhood,
what can
honey.
I say, baby? I'm hot. I'm hot.
I know.
Alright, we're going to let those sit for a little bit longer. Alright, so we'll let those sit for a little bit longer. We'll come back. Once I know that they're about 120 degrees, at that point I definitely want to get the scallops on there, get those seared up, and they'll only take about maybe 1 minute aside, so they'll go quick.
I wonder what was exploding earlier.
Oh, we gotta turn them. Alright. Oh, there goes hunger.
Smells the fish. Oh, nice. They look good.
Alright, let's slice this up and start plating. Last part will be the lobster coming off. It's like butter. Ooh, look at that. Pink all the way throughout. Nice. This knife is great. Who bought? I wonder whose knives these are. Alright, last thing is the lobster. Just pulled it off. It hit about 145, so I'm about 5 degrees off. I wanted to pull it at 140 with a carryover of about 5 degrees, so it should be good though. This is how it turned out. And we're just going to set that on the plate like so. And we are all set to eat. Alright guys, that's it. We made that. It's all set. We're going to sit down and enjoy our meal. So thank God 2020 is over, on to 21, because it's been a tough year, I'm sure, for many folks. So enjoy.